Okay, so this next section is section 3.2, and it's about cell organelles. So it's going to be about the individual components within a cell. Eukaryotic cells are going to share many of the same characteristics with one another. Cells have an internal structure. So that first picture you're looking at there looks to be an electron microscope colored image of the cytoskeleton. And the cytoskeleton has many functions. It's going to give the cell some support and shape, which makes sense if you look at the word. Cyto is going to mean cell itself, and then skeleton, obviously, like your skeleton. So cell skeleton, it's going to give support and shape, much like the skeleton of your body does. It's going to help to position and transport organelles, so it's going to help move the other organelles around, kind of like a superhighway. It's going to also provide strength to the cell and assist in cell division. So again, that cytoskeleton has many functions that it provides. Additionally, it's going to aid in cell movement. So several organelles are involved in making and processing proteins. The nucleus stores genetic information. So this is generally found as like a large, on a slide, it's going to be darker stained and fairly large. And this is where the DNA is housed. This picture here also shows pores, and these pores allow materials in and out of the nucleus. This picture is showing the nucleus, the whole piece. This piece that's cut away, that's the nucleolus that's being shown inside of there. And then these little round dots on the outside are the pores. Many processes occur in the endoplasmic reticulum as well. So this is showing endoplasmic reticulum, these long kind of lines that are stacked on top of each other. And these little red dots, which they're only red because they're stained that way, or colored, depending upon the slide. These little red dots, though, are ribosomes. Anytime you hear the word ribosome, you should be thinking of protein synthesis. So there are going to be two types of endoplasmic reticulum. There's the rough, which is endoplasmic reticulum that is studded with these ribosomes, and there is smooth, which is called smooth because it doesn't have that studding. Again, that top image is the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and the image that's a little bit lower down on the screen is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Again, we're still talking about making proteins here, which is super, super important to the body's functions. Ribosomes are going to link amino acids to form proteins. Makes total sense because amino acids are the monomer of the polymer protein. Vesicles are membrane-bound sacs that hold materials. So these are going to be just kind of dotted throughout the cell itself, found in the cytoplasm. And these vesicles are going to hold all kinds of things. They can hold nutrition, fluid, waste, loads of things. So the mitochondria is an extremely important organelle. It's going to supply energy to the cell, and these are going to be found in both animal and plant cells. We're going to get into these more in the next chapter, but know that they are considered the powerhouse of the cell. They supply energy to the cell. They do have an outer membrane as well as an inner membrane, a rather complex structure inside that we'll be learning more about. Vacuoles are fluid-filled sacs that hold materials, and these vacuoles are they're more plentiful. They're plentiful but smaller, I guess is a way to say it, in an animal cell. Whereas in a plant cell, there tends to be one very, very large vacuole. And these vacuoles are part of what gives the plant its structure. So if you see a plant that starts to wilt, it's because the vacuole is not as full as it should be. Lysosomes are going to contain enzymes to digest material. So to lyse, for a lysosome to perform that function, to lyse, it's this breaking apart. And the lysosome will eat up things that aren't any good for your body. So like your white blood cells have a lot of lysosomes, so they can eat up some viruses and bacteria and things like that. These will also act almost like a recycling bin. So when the cell starts to die, the lysosomes will kind of gobble up the other pieces of the cell so that that material is not just wasted. Centrioles are tubes that are found inside of the cell, and centrioles are going to help to divide DNA. So they give some structure to that process. Centrioles form cilia and flagella as well. So cilia are going to be fine hair-like structures that move back and forth. You can find them in your nasal cavity. You can find them in your digestive tract. You can find them on the outside of many bacteria, helping them to move around, those kind of things. Flagella are more of a long whip-like tail. Example of this is the tail of a sperm. So there are going to be a few different things that plant cells have that animal cells do not. One of those is a cell wall. And the cell wall is being highlighted in this particular slide, which appears to be a regular slide like you would use with our compound microscopes. And these cell walls provide some support, some protection, those kind of things for the cell itself. Chloroplast, another specialized cell within plants, converts solar energy into chemical energy. So all of the energy in nature, in our ecosystems, comes from the sun. It is solar energy. It starts out as being converted from solar energy to chemical energy within plants, and then it moves through the food chain. And that brings us to the end of 3.2.